I'm Bengtzen with the Spring Creek Realty Group and Keller Williams, and today I want to take a moment and chat with you about your 2011 tax assessment notices that came in the mail in the last couple weeks. I've heard from several of you inquiring about your tax value and your assessments, and so I want to go over a couple of details with you to help you make an informed decision if you should appeal your taxes or not. The purpose of the assessment notice, the evaluation, is to inform you of what the county is going to assess your property at this tax season. It also gives you the value of last year so you can make it comparable. It lets you know also where the county is going to spend its money and any hearings or information about the places like the school districts and etc. that they're going to be assessing your taxes for, to pay for, and then also it gives you information about if you should want to appeal your taxes, how to do that, and where to send the information to the Board of Equalization. So that brings me to the subject of should you appeal your taxes. Many of you have inquired, and the one thing about having a successful tax appeal is information and evidence. And the county does not have the workforce or the man time or the manpower to come in and assess every property every year. And so as they're doing a good job, sometimes your property gets overlooked. And so a couple of things that we need to take into consideration before we go through the efforts of appealing your property is it worth it, and how to make that informed decision. So the first thing is your property a primary or a non-primary residence? If it's a primary residence, it has a P by it. If it's just being assessed as a non-primary, it has the NP by it. The one thing you should know is that, especially if you live in the Ogden Valley, is if it has a P for a primary, you're being taxed at 0.55, 55% of assessed value. Whereas if it's a second home, you're being assessed at 1%. So make note of that. If it is your primary residence, send in the information such as a proof of your driver's license or utility bills or registered car, anything that's going to show them that you live here. They generally speaking need two forms of information to prove that you do live here full time. The other part of having the successful appeal is knowing your value. So a couple of things is you can do it from comps, and I'm happy to help you pull the comps. Now, one thing you need to remember is they are basing it off of January 1. So your property might be less today with a declining market than it was January 1. And so they're coming up with their value as of January 1 and not today's value. So that's one thing you need to keep in mind is the comps that we're going to need to use are January 1 or last year. And so we need to make note as if your property could have sold January 1 or last year for less than what they're assessing it at, then we can go ahead and appeal it. If it's worth less today than they're assessing it at, but you could have sold it January 1, it doesn't make sense for us to appeal it. And that's where you can come to me for the comps. I'm happy to help you come up with that value. The second thing you can do is order an appraisal. Keep in mind an appraisal is $350 and up depending on the home, and so you'll want to make sure that that value, the amount of money that you're saving, is going to cover the cost of the appraisal. That's a great way to go ahead and get the county to lower the taxes if you have a recent appraisal that makes it less than what they're assessing it at. Another way that you can do it is based off of if you purchased the home in the last 2 years. If it's been 2 years or less, send in your COD 1 form, send in your recent information of your purchase, and the county will go ahead and take the purchase price of your home if it's been in the last 2 years and lower your tax assessment as well. The other way is if it's a commercial generating property income. There are some formulas. I personally don't know them off the top of my head, so get onto the Weber County website and see where they will assess your value based off the formulas for your income producing property. Another way to lower your tax basis is if their factual data is wrong. So for example, is if they have your home at 5,000 square feet and it's really 2,500, send in the proof that your home is less square footage and the information of where it would comp out at. And again, you can contact me for this information if you need to, and you can get the tax basis lowered that way. The other way would be if there's been a natural disaster that's affected 30% of the value. Can't be self-inflicted or whatnot, but sending in comps, bids from contractors would help change the value there. So anyway, let me know if you need me to help you with your tax, even just look at it and let you know if I think that it's a fair value, or if I need to pull some comps for you. Just keep in mind that, again, it's based off of last year. Also keep in mind, if it's only off by a couple $1,000s, it generally isn't worth your time and energy to appeal it. But if it's off by 10 or 20 or 30 or however many thousands of dollars, then it will make sense. And go ahead and give me a call, 801-745-0745, or shoot me an email, spring@springcreekut, and I would be happy to help you. Have a great day. Thanks again. Bye.